Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays Kerbal Space Program. We are, I've got like a step-by-step process I want to work through. I want to start sending unmanned drones, or probes, spaceships, satellites, whatever you'd like to call them. I guess the satellite specifically implies orbit. But I want to send unmanned vessels to Duna so I'm not throwing astronauts away in case things go wrong. And I want those unmanned vessels to be able to send data back to Kerbin. Apparently what we need for that is a couple of different things. One of them, and kind of the linchpin for it, is this thing called a relay antenna, which we need 27 more science to garner here. 27 more science to garner. So I think what I'm going to try to do, it's going to be a little bit of a... It's not even a step backwards, it's just a scientific reconnaissance mission, might be a good way to describe it. I'm going to try to go to, maybe Minmus, grab a soil sample, come back with 27 science, maybe we can complete a contract that does that as well. Then, and this will probably be tomorrow's episode, get 2 satellites with relay antenna in orbit around Kerbin at like a monstrous apoapsis. That way we've got, maybe 3 satellites, I guess. That way, if we've got them equally spread, like 120 or 180 degrees apart, depending on how many we have, we should be able to have an array of communication satellites that essentially will always leave us in connection with Kerbin, no matter how far away we get. Well, at least, as long as we're only as far away as Duna, we should be able to at least transmit data back. So, let me go through the steps one more time. Get enough science, 27 or more, to get relay antenna. Then launch a network of communication satellites in high orbit around Kerbin. And then start launching unmanned drones to Duna that can send science back and hopefully make it easier for us to get to Duna in the future, but also unlock more stuff because it's fun. So let's see if there's any contracts that kind of fit for us there. Rescue Samlan from the surface of Minmus. We get a lot of money for it. But trying to land at the right spot on Minmus is not necessarily easy, but we can do some things that give us like a lot of money, like plant flag on Minmus, easy. Science data from the surface of Minmus, easy. Plus we get extra science out of it, well, relatively easy. We'll take the rescue mission just for now, and we'll see how it works. And then essentially, I don't even think we need to mess with this, but if we open one of our rockets. What did we use to get to Minmus? I hope we called it Minmus. We did not call it Minmus. It must have been asparagus staging. I hope it was asparagus staging. What's the problem with this? It's got like Twitch rockets on it still. Well, you know what we can actually do is let's leave for a second here. Don't save. Even though we don't want the Twitch rockets anyway. Or Twitch engines, I should say. Tracking station. What did you land with on Minmus? Mun lander ship? Really? Well, I mean, it does certainly... Wait, but there's nobody in this one. I think. No crew on part. No crew on part. Hold up, go back. It's been a while since I stranded this dude, so I just want to, like, make sure I know. Munlander on the Mun. Is it this guy you're trying to get me to rescue? Samland's shipwreck. Oh, dude, this guy is not getting rescued. Thanks for the free money, but we're going to fail that. Okay. So anyway, we're just going to try to land on Minmus. What was Samlan using? He's not in it anymore. Well, we know the Moonlander is at least capable of getting to Minmus, so we'll launch with like a slightly modified Moonlander, I guess. So, open. Moonlander. I still think it's asparagus. Oh, wait, Da Moon Minmus. Hold up. Da Moon Minmus 02. This is probably the... Oh my god. This is what I was flying? This looks freaking ridiculous. What a hideous creature. You let me fly this terrible thing? Yo, go back to asparagus staging. This bad boy will get us to Minmus, probably. Even this looks like trash, though. I guess we haven't been launching... Like, what did we use for the rescue mission? Was that bring him home? What in the world is this nightmare fuel? Look, I'm like laughing at my past self now, but I got asparagus staging on the final part of the lander? Sure, I mean, whatever you... Dude, let's... Who we got? We got space for 1 crew on this one. We're using, like, antiquated parts, but... Oh, no, we got space for 3 crew because of the crew area. Yeah, that's fine. But we need science. We need science for this one. Does this thing have elevators? Or, sorry, ladders. It does not have ladders. Screw this. I'm building my own ship. Okay? This is embarrassing, the likes of which I've been using before here. Give me the cupola. Nah, give me the Mark II. And we're going to call this Minmus craft. Planet, well, target name as first word to avoid ambiguity again. You dumb idiot. That's why you always name your variables properly. Okay, you know the drill here. It's gonna look very similar to basically every ship we've ever made. It has to land, it has to gather samples, and it has to return. So, the simplest way to do that, I think, is to, well, I mean, let's not be too silly here. We would like to, I suppose, return with the data, but we'll set up some transmission just in case, because we do only need 27. So get that up there. It looks relatively correct. But I really like the idea of having a service bay, actually, and the service bay has worked relatively well for us recently. So, put, like... I feel like that should be enough, but just in case it's not... Oh, but then it gets too top-heavy. We're really probably better off rocking, like, something like this. This thing... It's gonna be the easiest thing to land in history. But it is gonna be a little bit heavy as well. I don't know, maybe we're better off just going like, you know, something like that. And then we need an engine. Traditionally, we've been using the skipper. The skipper is probably like a little overkill, but... Do we have any other like Rockomax engines that could fit there and look right? It doesn't really seem like it. So let's go with the skipper for our final stage. And again, this might not work first try, but we'll work it out, you know? After a long enough time. See, this is the problem that I've been having lately is... How do I land with a big engine? I suppose we could put a small engine on it? Like, it's in structural. We can taper... Can we not? I thought there was a taper that went big to small. This one obviously goes small to big, but... Okay, well, let's do it this way then. Our final stage does not need that level then. Let's just build it the old-fashioned way. Command pod. Regular old parachute. Is the cupola... Yeah, it's much bigger. Okay. So we'll just do this the old-fashioned way for the first part. We really should just be reusing subsystems, but at this point, you know, I'm not going to say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But maybe you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So we're going to put, probably the sensible way is to make a payload section. Put a little service bay in here. Open up the service bay doors. This is my life, homie. You decide yours. In here, we're going to put, like, some science. Obviously, that's not going to work. Oh, no. We're going to start with some batteries. So we may need these to transmit the data in the first place. And then, some goo. We don't need 4 of them. I would say, I mean, probably 1 is okay, but to be certain, put 2 of these bad boys in there. Those look relatively correct. As always, we'll throw like a little thermometer in here. As such. And we'll throw a little barometer in here. As such. Okay, close that up. So we don't have a Science Boy Junior or whatever the heck it's called, but I don't think we need one for the time being. Alright, so this is our final, like re-entry stage, assuming we can re-enter. No jokes, please. Coupling. Stack decoupler. We're going like old school with this one. We're gonna try to make a very sensible lander. And we've done this before, so I will actually be pretty disappointed if this rocket fails. I think that would be a little bit of an embarrassment. So we're gonna just put 4 of these bad boys. It's probably overkill, but I don't really mind, I guess, is the way that I'm gonna deflect that criticism. And we've been using a Terrier, I think, for our lander. And then on top of that, or rather adjacent to it, landing struts. Now this thing looks very stable from a landing perspective for me. Just in case we find ourselves on unsteady ground, it might be wise to put a little like spider legs here. I think that just raises our tolerance. Okay, easy enough. I think that's okay. Let's test all the stuff we've learned here. Stack decoupler. Then we enter our second stage, and I kind of feel like we should not really be too worried about fuel in our second stage. I guess what I would probably do is go structural, and then put a Rocco Max adapter here. And everything is going to be light except for the fuel and the engines. So I feel like that's quite a lot. And we'll put a skipper on that. I think this is set up appropriately right now. Taking a little longer than I expected, but, you know, I think patience is a virtue in this case. Take a Rocco Max brandy coupler. Alright. This is just to land on Minmus, so nothing too crazy here. Now, to get us into orbit, money's basically no object. I do kind of like the ease of use of these things right here, even though it's a little bit cumbersome sometimes to get it set up, but the way that'll work is like this, and then we'll put 2 of these bad boys connected. And then, I wonder if we could just, like, then lower the decoupler? Have I finally outsmarted myself, but in a good way? So this is our asparagus staging. That was relatively easy. And then, I'm basically, again, building this not because I necessarily think it's going to be the easiest way, but because I think it's going to be the simplest way to get this done. So then we'll just take this extra wave here. Extra stage, I should say. Put it down here. It looks fairly aligned to me, but these should be taken off. The fuel ducts. Not making it easy on me, are they? Like, see, the thing is we can't leave the fuel duct connected, because it has to go like that. Yeah, okay. This is good. Let's finish it up. I think this might be fine. I don't see any glaring reasons to be concerned. After all we've learned, I think we have gotten out of a fairly rough patch of recent Kerbaldom and found ourselves, I wouldn't say feeling like 100% cocky, but feeling relatively confident, all things considered. At least in my own very limited skill set. Okay, so final steps here. It's a little hideous. We want a set of launch stability enhancers. We do want struts, I think, because these things fly a little weird, but we'll see if it goes all right for now. We got 5 engines on the bottom. This is the part that takes a minute and can be kind of annoying. So we have a Communitron. We don't have any RCS ports. We could put RCS ports on, but I mean, it's probably a little unnecessary. So we got 5 engines firing to start with. Then, those ones decouple. That is incorrect. Wait, these guys do not have decouplers. What happened there? Don't do me like that, okay? This is unnecessary. It is better we find out now, but still, dude. Okay. Oh, are they? That one's going the right way. That one's going the right. Okay. 5 engines at the bottom. These two pop. Correct. These two pop. Correct. This one pops. Correct. This engine fires. This pops. This engine fires. This pops. Okay, I think this is relatively correct. Save and launch. So what are we doing? Gathering science. What are you doing, Susan? What are you doing, Susan? Gathering science. It's an NLSS joke. Pre-flight checklist. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yeah, okay, so the engine's definitely like rocking back and forth. That wobble is not something we're interested in keeping here. I worry because the other sides aren't really wobbling. So what has me concerned is the idea that maybe these ones aren't attached to the decoupler properly, or maybe the other ones aren't attached to the decouplers properly. But we'll see. Well, they popped off nicely. In theory, that means the other ones should pop off fine as well. It's fairly easy takeoff, actually. Apoapsis of 24,000, but it's a good 24,000. And what I mean by that is it's a 24,000 that's like very, very stretched. Have we ever taken science from around here? Yes. Should have assumed. There have been times where I've been very desperate for science, so not really a surprise, all things considered. 32,000. We're going to look for, again, apoapsis has got to be above 70,000. I'd like you to stay roughly on this marker, please. And when we pass 30,000 and we're out of the choppy air, I will hit full throttle. So not a flawless design, but fairly acceptable, I think, for our purposes anyway. Okay, we're over 30,000. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, so that's like obviously horrible that we got this little wobble going on here. That apoapsis should be completely acceptable. This is where our RCS ports would come in handy. Well, let's add a maneuver. Roughly at apoapsis. No, wrong arm. Pull on that. Periapsis 87, apoapsis 543. That's no good. Apoapsis 87, periapsis doesn't exist. 85, 97. That seems good to me. Okay, move to prograde, please. How much electricity do you have? Enough. You should be doing okay here. Well, we can move, like, we can use a little throttle. So I just want to get you on the maneuver node. To begin with. Also, we should be, like, way less fidgety now. Perhaps a little harder to control, because we have less control surfaces, but much, much easier to, like, to move. So in 27 seconds, well, 50, basically at T-minus 25 seconds, we're going to go here. So just go times 5 for, like, a second. This rocket actually seems pretty good, but we need struts. It's basically a garbage fire without struts. So this will get us into a nice, fairly stable orbit. I think we're going to get there with... We're going to have a little bit of fuel remaining. So our it's not really an interplanetary injection, but our transit to Minmus is going to be a little bit aided by having this nice, you know, compact-ish liquid fuel engine here for us. Relatively pleased with this rocket design overall, honestly. Okay, like, actually good. Periapsis 87, apoapsis 104. I can live with that. So the next stage, again, we get pretty easy here. We're going to try to intercept Minmus. This used to be a dang nightmare, but in this day and age, it's not that challenging most of the time. So what's the big deal? Honestly, set... That one's the moon, sorry. Set Minmus as your target. A descending node is minus 7.2. So the first thing we want to do... I feel like I'm performing an exam or something, but in like a good way. I was always kind of the weird kid who liked writing tests, believe it or not. So we want our ascending node to be basically even. No. Okay, we botched this. Hold up. Okay, let's think about this. Usually you want to make a maneuver at the descending node or at the ascending node. So our ascending node is the first one to come here. And we are going to be, this is where we're cresting in the upward direction, if I remember correctly. It's hard to tell, to be honest with you, but we're down and heading up. So we want to flatten our orbit relative to Minmus. Well, no, I'm an idiot. First, we should just... Yeah, like I said, I'm becoming kind of an expert at this. No, first things first, I'll eat your brains, then I'll start rocking gold teeth and fangs. Closest approach, we're here, it's here. So we need to, like, very much change our direction here. Like, maybe do the maneuver there. And then pull up. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to talk. Closest approach. I'm here. Okay, so now we probably want to add a second maneuver here. And what that'll be, that's our descending node. So we want to pull up just a little bit. No, we want to pull down just a little bit is what I was going to say. No, we want to basically do neither. Yeah, that's the ticket. There we go. We want to accelerate prograde. Look at that. A Minmus encounter. 2 days, 3 hours, 4 minutes. Escape 2 days, 3 hours, 49 minutes. We got 45 minutes in Minmus's orbit. Those are getting closer together, unfortunately. Spread it out as much as we can. 2 days, 1 hour, 53 minutes. 2 days, 2 hours. So we have about an hour in Minmus. Okay. So we're hitting like a peak roughly here. Should be okay. 1 hour, 23 minutes, 2 hours, 20. Literally an hour. Okay. Well, we have 2 orbits to do. In 12 minutes, we're going to burn for 27 seconds. With this engine. This engine, however, is like very strong. So we're not actually going to get 27 seconds out of this. There's no doubt. So just get ourselves positioned along the maneuver node. It is a little unwieldy. I mean, we lost half of our control surfaces when the fuel tanks dropped, so... Not to mention we have no RCS, which really is a bit of a misplay on my part to be, you know, giving you a grave understatement. But anyway, we're only supposed to be in orbit on this stage. It is possible that I fudged up construction so bad the second stage is just not going to do anything, but I doubt it. Please just get stable on the this is fine. We're okay. So go times 10 speed. Because at about 15 seconds remaining, we're going to want to pop this. Four, three, two, one. Slow it down. 10 speed. T minus 15 seconds. We're going to pop. 2, 1, 0. Engage. So we're going to get a little fuel, but not much. Keep in mind we got 2 maneuvers to do. So we got a 40-second burn here. This, does the vast majority of the work in getting us to Minmus. So I just very quickly want to check, have we done a crew report? Yes. I never put an antenna on this thing, did I? Well, that really puts the pressure on us to make it back. Just be cool here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good maneuver. Okay, next maneuver is in 4 hours. So I'm just going to quickly check on any science to see if we've done it here. Recovery, 0.5 science. That's okay. Reset. Barometer. That's okay. I'm going to assume that our temperature we've already checked out here as well. So you know the drill. We got a 15-second burn, and we're going to have a lot of fuel left over. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But we got a lot of fuel left over. I also realized I put no ladder on this thing, so we're going to have to maneuver pretty nicely to, with our RCS thrusters to get back into the vessel, but I really didn't put a... No, I really did not put a, an antenna on this thing. Still, dude, pretty, like, I don't want to say flawless, obviously, but pretty smooth approach to Minmus so far for something that was previously, like, a nightmare for us. Now we're, routine is probably not the right word for it, but it's clear we have at least a moderate understanding of how these maneuver nodes work together in order to create a situation in which we can make it to a distant pseudo-world. 15 seconds, so we want to burn at T-8, roughly. We got plenty of fuel left to do this. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause it up. Nicely done. T-8 seconds. Probably a good time to stop. Get ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We've got remixed to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We basically hit it. So we do have an encounter. That, again, pretty smooth, honestly. So, 1 day, 3 hours, 27 minutes. 1 day, 4 hours, 2 minutes. We only have about half an hour, but, I mean, at this point, unless there's science to be done en route, which we'll just check on here. Crew report. Generally speaking, that usually indicates no. But there was a long period of this series where I was not using mystery goo at all, so this might be free science. Yeah, dude, 15 science is pretty good. So I'll take the 15 from that. We'll save the other one. See the barometer in there. Nothing. All right, that's fine. Close it up for now, just to be on the safe side. You might as well, at this point, warp me to our Minmus encounter. Which we are essentially at. Okay, so Minmus is like way up there. We need to add a maneuver that takes us there. And there is one. And that's it right there. In fact, that'll land us on the planet. We probably / definitely don't even need to land on the planet. But we'll get into orbit first, just to make sure we can. Because we can get some science well in orbit. A soil sample is not necessary to get enough science to make relay antennas, I think. So we'll play it by ear, but I'd rather land because it would be cool. And we know that we can stay retrograde because the maneuver node is only pointing retrograde. And do we have 36 seconds of fuel left? Absolutely. We have so much fuel left. So before we do anything, we have been captured by Minmus, so thought maybe we might have some extra science of value. Dude, it's only 7, but I'll take it. That's 15. Close this up. So we got 1 mystery goo left, and we're not burning for 16 minutes, so. At T-minus 18 seconds, we want to initiate this burn. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We should be able to stay pointed retrograde. In fact, most of our maneuvers are just going to be a retrograde point and burn now. It would be awesome to use almost none of our lander fuel to get to the point where we're landing. What I mean by that is we still got so much fuel left in our second stage here. If we could use this fuel to land, it just gives you much more tolerance for making mistakes on the way back. 3, 2, 1. I'm just trying to make the maneuver as seamless as possible. Pretty good. And now, I mean, you pretty much just burn retrograde at periapsis and you land. We don't really need a maneuver at this point. Or do we? I'm like, how do you land? Oh, maybe you burn retrograde at apoapsis? Yeah, I mean, we could also get more science from around here, but I think it's largely not relevant, I guess, is what I'm trying to suggest. So, that's 11 days from now. Well, you know. I guess we are pretty high up. We're also not doing a maneuver right now, which, you know, that'll cost you. Why is that 4 days away, then? Hey, get this maneuver out of here. So basically what I'm going to do now, point retrograde, thank you, bring this up. Instead of being in orbit, I'm just going to burn until we have a collision course, which we did in like literally half of a second. And we're going this way now, I think. How high above Minmus are we? 680,000. Point retrograde, please. We're only going 55 meters per second. So, I mean, I'm just leveling with you here. There's actually no point for us to use this fuel. This fuel doesn't need to exist. In fact, it's probably better if it doesn't exist. I think I should just dump it, but I'm going to quick save because I'm a baby. So let that explode on the surface of the planet first. We're going to speed up time a little bit here. As you can see, we're accelerating like so slowly. It shouldn't take us very much fuel to land. We're still only going 100 meters a second here. So hopefully we picked a relatively safe location. I mean, even still, do we need to go 10 speed? I don't believe so. Or times 10 speed? I think we could afford to wait until we're at like 10,000 meters, because like we're going to be able to slow down so quickly once we actually start using fuel. Just be careful, because you might... I mean, it looks like we're landing on kind of a rocky bit of terrain here. Remember, we are trying to save fuel as well, but beyond saving fuel, another big part of my strategy here is not dying. We can afford to, like, speed up a little bit. So our rocket fuel just exploded on the surface, no doubt. We in this on Minmus. Dude, like, apart from the failure to construct a rocket that actually was designed to do what I wanted to, like, for example, return from Minmus, this has gone very, very well. To end this episode, I think the smart play, land safely on Minmus, which is looking like it's going okay, although we could have chosen, like, possibly some flatter ground. Land safely on Minmus, grab a soil sample, get back in the ship, you're good to go. Then all we have to do is return. If we're able to return, we have enough science to make relay satellites or relay antenna for satellites. We put those satellites in high orbit around Kerbin. Then we should be able to send unmanned craft to Duna instead of risking our astronauts' lives all the time to make it happen. So we want to land, because we're landing on, like, the side of a mountain. We want to land going very, very slowly. There's our shadow. Like 1 meter per second. Any faster than this, and I'm frightened about our odds, honestly. Be ready. That was wonderful. That was actually great. Crew report. Nothing. Okay, that's fine. Hatch isn't blocked, I'll tell you that much. Open this bad boy up. Look at the other science goo. Oh, and then now we're talking 50 science. We already got a little bit of stuff from the other ones. And now our goal is we have to plant a flag on Minmus. So let's EVA Mr. Jebediah here. Nice, you did it. Plant a flag on Minmus. Great job. Yeah, it looks very level flag. Take surface sample. Keep. EVA report. Nothing, huh? All right. Well, we can walk around and get more science, but I think this is pretty good. So now is the hard part. Grabbing onto that tiny little elevator there. Or ladder. Look, I promise I know what a ladder is and what an elevator is. We got it. Dude, first try. B for board. Dude, okay. So we've done really good work on this episode, in my opinion. Successful episode. We've got enough science. All we got to do is get it safely back into the planet. Back into Kerbin. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Hopefully, great satellites. Hopefully, a lot of science.